You're on West Bremer Radio. Let's talk to this man. He always entertains. He talks local. He's a dead set local. He talks Ipswich, and we're going to talk about Friday the 13th and bad luck stories. Let's talk to Harold the H. Cock. And he has historyouthere.com.
Yeah, good morning, Danny. It was a bit of bad luck for a couple of football teams last weekend, but it's Friday the 13th coming up, so hopefully there's not any more for us. Do you think?
No, not any. And your team lost, and my team lost, and I don't think either of them should have lost.
Oh, a bit of bad luck,
Bad choice.
both. Great games, both. But look,
game.
there's another game tonight too, is Brisbane Roar. So let's hope we get a bit of redemption tonight.
The Roar are playing Sydney City in Allianz Stadium, I think, tonight.
Yeah, that's right, the Australia Cup. So, let's go the Queensland team once again.
Go Queensland. Now let's talk about Friday the 13th, some bad luck stories.
Yeah, and there's loads of bad luck stories in Ipswich history, Danny. Look, one, for example, is back on Friday the 13th in September 1867. That's when Dr. Henry von Losberg, he appeared in the Ipswich court charged with speeding. Now, he'd been pulled over after travelling along Brisbane Street, just outside here on the West Bremer Radio Studios, just outside there. So Dr. von Losberg, he was found guilty of speeding and fined 40 shillings. But the whole truth of the matter was that the doctor was driving his horse. He was doing between 12 and 15 miles per hour. Then it's about the same speed that you walk across the road to get your coffee. And what's more, he was on his way to a medical emergency. So you've got to think the doctor was unlucky on this occasion.
There you go.
But, yeah, but for bad luck stories related to one person, I couldn't go past, on this occasion, David Griffiths.
Right.
Now, David, he was born in Wales in 1878. He came to work in the Ipswich coal mines, and he lived on South Station Road at Silkstone. Now, he passed away when he was 87 years old after having worked in the mines for 50 years. So I can't decide whether he's unlucky or lucky to have survived as long working underground. Anyway, David, look, he must have known what was coming when he married Janet Hare in 1903. That's because Janet had disasters happening all around her. These included, they included a brother dying of blood poisoning. Her father's toes were cut off by a train. And her parents' home at Silkstone was burnt down after her father's pyjamas caught fire. And meanwhile, David's brother, James Griffiths, he had a narrow escape when he was found in the stable of the Prince Alfred Hotel at Bouville.
Wow.
And that's when his throat was cut. And he told police he couldn't remember what happened. Anyway, the brother survived that, but 6 months later had a bit of bad luck when he was found under the East Street overpass, this time with his head completely severed. Now, the man who found the brother's body was later shot and collapsed into a beautiful flower bed in Queen's Park. But then there was David's son, Alwyn Griffiths. Now, he was captured by the Japanese at the fall of Singapore in the Second World War. Now, the son survived working on the Thai-Burma Railway.
Right.
But his luck turned when his ship, the Reikuo Maru, was then torpedoed by an American submarine.
Right.
And so the son was lost at sea. It was just bad luck and tragedy there. And then one of Alwyn's mates, who actually also survived the Thai-Burma Railway, in addition, he survived the sinking of the ship. But shortly after being discharged, he was hit by a train in Sydney. And his luck finished there. So with all this tragedy and mayhem, look, Danny, this Friday, the 13th, don't worry about bad luck because there's always someone worse off. Just think of David Griffiths here in Ipswich. He suffered a lot. His wife's house burnt down because of her father's pyjamas. His brother was decapitated, and his son was sunk by the Americans. So we're lucky here that regardless what happens to our football teams, we're a lucky state and a lucky city.
We are. In fact, I was watching the show last night about people in, I was overseas, one of those refugee camps, and we are blessed. We just don't realise how lucky we are And we're letting others take the joint over, which is a real sad indictment on Australians. We're too easygoing. As my dear father says, many years ago, we live in a fool's paradise, and I think he's right.
Well, just walk outside and look at the weather. It's beautiful day today. But, Danny, when you're walking outside on Brisbane Street, just be careful. Dr. Henry von Losberg might still be speeding down the street in his horse.
You're a funny man.
But it's a beautiful day. Just look outside.
It's a beautiful day. Where was that bloke lost his head?
He lost his head under the East Street overpass.
Is the East Street overpass still there? East Street overpass.
It was down the train.
You just don't realise how the sort of things that have happened around. It could happen in your backyard 100 years ago, and you didn't know there was a massacre or someone's been buried, or you wouldn't know, would you? By the way,
if you line up everything in Ipswich as if it happened all now, you'd be stepping over heads and bodies and horses, and it's just like it'd be endless.
And you know, the bloke who lost his toes by the train.
Yeah.
What did the little boy say when the train ran over his toes? Tootsie goodbye.
Yeah, that's a bit of bad luck that we heard that too this morning, Danny. So Friday the 13th, just think of that joke. So we'll feel lucky that it's not being told again.
Harold H. He is on historyouthere.com. Read his stories. They go way back. And get on there and give us one of our We want you to do your arcs on historyouthere.com. Thanks a lot, Harold.